My name is Spider, and this is the 27 Club podcast. Today we will be talking more about Hearing Voices, the seventh and final song off of Life Changes So Fast, one of the 3 albums on my portfolio of music, 27 Club. With this song, life changes so fast as we question my decision-making on Just Friends, the previous song, and raise the possibility that I may be insane or not in my right mind. I reveal more about my history in regards to the fact that my father can speak with the dead. I share details on the highs and lows of our relationship and how, through it all, I still love him if he is, quote, crazy, unquote. I will be breaking down the lyrics, production style, and tell you more about how it all came together. In many ways, this is more than just music. It's my story, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you all. Let's start off with the production. We start off with the sample Dare from the Gorillaz. I wanted the sonics for this record to sound like discord and chaos, to reflect the paranoia and fear that I may be mentally unwell, and perhaps have inherited the gifts or illness of my father, who hears voices and can communicate with the dead. I wanted this beat to reflect the unknowing of this process and the insanity of the situation. Inheritance is a core theme throughout this project, and I reveal that although I may not have inherited monetary gifts, perhaps I've inherited another gift or curse in its place. To me, this song sounds like a sort of mental hospital disco. I picture animated characters like the Gorillaz dancing around in straitjackets. I couldn't think of a better song to represent this discord and unknowing than Dare by the Gorillaz. I like the polarity of the sonics on this instrumental, as we hear high-pitched sonics throughout, but yet a haunting background vocal that emanates darkness. It reminds me of a sort of haunted carnival, symbolizing the chaos of life, as one moment you're on the ride of your life and the next moment you're terrified. I leave it to the audience to decide if I've made the right life decision on Just Friends, the previous track, in regards to my lover, or if I've let this insanity get to me. The next sample is On the Level by Mac DeMarco. I chose this song as Mac DeMarco references a father-son relationship, as his old man wants his son to make him proud, as he mentions on the first verse. I couldn't think of a song more fitting to express this moment of vulnerability, as I conversate with my father and tell him about the time that he told me that he could hear voices for the first time. More specifically, about the time that he spoke with Jesus and told me that he was Abraham Lincoln reincarnated. I thought this song was perfect from a sonic standpoint, as well as the high-pitched synths, which remind me of a sort of migraine or alarm being raised as I tell myself that perhaps I should have known better and should have got him some mental help, as opposed to believing him at a young age. I discuss my connection with my father. I also like the way that the songs elevate and move up the scale, going higher and higher in pitch. This is fitting, as I wanted the sound to mirror a situation getting more and more escalated, or worse and worse, as it starts off as a innocent confession, but as I grow older, an entirely different context takes place, and I wonder if my father is actually clinically insane. Lyrics. In the first verse, life again changes so fast as the confidence in my life decision on Just Friends, the previous track, is doubted, and I feel like I'm losing my mind and touch with reality.
I need a couple uppers after a dozen downers. My equilibrium is thin and I'm simply dumbfounded, heavily medicated. I think my life's surrounded by dark interrogators, meditating just off balance, enough to take me under. I guess that's the challenge. Rocking the boat to stay afloat, I'm sinking, seatbelts fastened. Hearing I'm not a hero, voices an alter ego. I think I've lost myself and looking for just where I found it.
I referenced that I need a couple uppers after a dozen downers, which is a double entendre referring to the somewhat depressing story that I've told, with many ups and downs and highs and lows, but also referring to drug use. I suggest that my equilibrium is thinning, inferring a sense of losing balance and perhaps being surprised by it. I suggest that I'm heavily medicated, again alluding to drug use, referring to 27 Club, which is a small club of legendary artists and musicians that died from drug overdoses at the age of 27. Life changes so fast as I suggest that I'm turning to darkness or fading to black, as perhaps my demons have gotten the best of me. I leave it to the audience to decide. I'm meditating on this verse, inferring a sense of calmness or perhaps numbness. I suggest that perhaps the darkness is taking me under, but still a struggle ensues as I try to stay afloat by perhaps acting out through the various vices I allude to on the next project, Solace, and on this project as well, specifically with songs like Endorphins and Taboo. Despite all of this, however, it appears that I'm still sinking and losing myself. I allude to the fact that I'm hearing voices, foreshadowing the next verse over the Mac DeMarco sample, as they're telling me that I'm not a hero, perhaps suggesting that I'm a villain instead. I again allude to losing myself, inferring that this process of self-discovery and self-psychoanalysis is perhaps never ending. We then move into the second verse. Remember when you told me you were hearing voices? Maybe there was something going undiagnosed. I can hear them too, herein lies the choice when you decide to listen to them or just let them go. Remember when you told me you were hearing voices? Maybe it's my fault, I thought you were just blowing smoke. In time the only thing that breaks through all the noises, my love for you no matter what, I just want you to know. In this chorus, I'm speaking to my father and recalling the first time that he told me that he could hear voices and talk to historical figures from the past. When I was first told this, I was a child and went along with it, as it was just a weird thing that my dad did. But as I grow older, I question his sanity by suggesting that maybe something was going undiagnosed. I then reveal that I can hear voices too, alluding to an inherited trait, calling to the inheritance track on this project, but saying that I've decided to let them go or not believe in them. I look at my father's deteriorating health and suggest that perhaps it's my fault, as I never really took his claim seriously. Throughout all the noise, however, I still let him know that I'll love him no matter what, as love or light breaks through all of the noise. I like the sonics here because they are piercing, and I wanted my statement of love to cut through all of the noise and be just as piercing as the sonics. We then move into the second verse, where I describe the moment where my dad makes this confession to me. I try and relax and take notes. Said you spoke with Jesus, the one with halo. Maybe you don't mean it and I should lay low. Still love you even if you're crazy. But what if you're not? On other planets like spaceships, head up in the clouds, some are born with great gifts, blessed with something holy, rare and ancient. But lately that perspective's fading. Health issues seem to escalate. Lack of self-care, you said I was JFK, reincarnated in you with big Abraham motherfucking Lincoln. And you're conscious, you looked me in the eye. There's a late onset with schizophrenia. A comet goes by and I wonder if I inherited all the whispers. Then tragedy strikes. Remember, I am in a bit of a shock as my dad brings up this topic of hearing voices and says that he can speak with Jesus and others. I bring up the possibility that perhaps he's not crazy, giving him the benefit of the doubt and acknowledging that some people are born with great gifts, but how at the same time that perspective has been fading as his health deteriorates and we work through issues as seen on Inheritance. As a greedy capitalist, I have a lot of anger towards my father and mother, as I feel they've left me with nothing and have become parasites living off of my financial success. As a result, this perspective of him as a gifted person fades. His health issues seem to escalate as I perceive that perhaps there is a lack of self-care or depression that overtakes him as he slowly unwinds mentally to a point where he's telling me that he is Abraham Lincoln reincarnated and I am John F. Kennedy. After this dramatic climax of a conversation, tragedy strikes and the event happens which I described on Meerkat earlier. We then move into the chorus. Remember when you told me you were hearing voices? Maybe there was something going undiagnosed. I can hear them too, herein lies the choice when you decide to listen to them or just let them go. Remember when you told me you were hearing voices? Maybe it's my fault, I thought you were just blowing smoke. In time the only thing that breaks through all the noises, my love for you no matter what, I just want you to know. You were talking to someone, cause you came back to life. Gone for 30 minutes and on the other side, conversating with God as your soul shines. Said, dear Lord, I need to stay. You were talking to someone, cause you came back to life. Gone for 30 minutes and on the other side, conversating with God as your soul shines. Said, Lord, don't take me away. After this chorus, we end the song with a bridge, as I again wrestle with my perspective and suggest that perhaps he's not crazy, as the tragedy or cliffhanger comes full circle and I reveal that he came back to life, so he must have been talking to a higher power to seemingly be able to come back from the dead. Conclusion: this is a record about my relationship with my father and some of the traits that I have inherited as inheritance and generational trauma and fortune are a theme all throughout 27 Club. I will go more in depth into these details on the project recap of Life Changes So Fast. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow me at Spider TV on YouTube or Instagram, and Spotify as well.